In today's episode, we're going to be talking about how to embrace your failures.
It's important to note that in pursuit of anything new or something that's uncharted territory in your life, failure is not only going to be inevitable, but it's absolutely essential to be successful at that thing.
It is. So grab your cup of coffee and join us for today's conversation as we share with you 3 easy ways to start to embrace and, dare I say, love your failures.
Coffee with MoJo in the morning.
You're here. Welcome to Coffee with MoJo. I'm your host, Molly Ann Luna.
And I'm your host, Jovan Luna.
And today we're going to be talking about how and why you should embrace your failures. In fact, we're going to share with you 3 easy things you can do to possibly fall in love with failure.
But before we do any of that, I'm going to need you to hit that like button, the subscribe button, and hit that bell notification.
Ding!
So that you can be notified of all the new content coming out.
Yes, every Wednesday we release a new episode, but let's go ahead and dive right into today's hot topic.
Okay, so the first tip is failure is feedback. Actually, it's more than a tip, it's just more of a statement. Failure is feedback. What do I mean by that? Failure lets you know that what you're doing currently isn't working.
But the really cool thing about failure, and I just learned this, and now I love the word fail, because did you know that it's actually an acronym that stands for First Attempt in Learning? I mean, if you really think about it, anytime you're trying to pursue something new, you're going to have to fail and fail again and fail again before you are a success.
And the thing about attempting something new over and over and over is that you're not making the same type of attempt over and over and over, but you're tweaking it and you're adjusting it every single time you try it.
Adjusting it.
Yes, what I said.
Oh, I thought you said ingesting it.
So
like you're gonna just eat a big pile of failure.
Adjusting it, and every single attempt you make, even though you might fail in every attempt, you're getting better and better. Something that comes to mind right now is that I'm writing a television pilot, and I submit it out for professional coverage. I submit it one time, I get it back, and they go, "It's great, however." I submit it again, making those adjustments. They go, "Fantastic, however," and so on and so forth. But every single draft, every single subsequent draft is getting better and better and better. And even if I submit it the 4th time and it's still not quite there, if I took that 4th draft and compared it to the first, you can see the growth. You can definitely see the growth.
And that's what we want to strive for, is growth. Progress over perfection.
Something about attempting something over and over and over again, even after you're failing, there's something inside you that lets you know that you can do it. And that thing inside is like, you can do it. Always listen to it and keep pursuing it and keep going. And the failure, like you said, it's feedback. It's just letting you know that what you're doing isn't quite working. But the good thing about failure is that failure also takes you to the edge. And the thing that comes to mind is weight training. I used to be a fitness trainer, and you hear it said all the time where coaches are like, the best place to fail is in the weight room, because you're trying to get that last rep and you just can't get it, and then your spotter lifts it off your chest or whatnot, and then you might come back in after 10 minutes, get back down there, and then you're able to do that rep again. Why?
Right, like you've heard that term, right? Muscle failure.
Yeah, and the reason why is because your body didn't know that you were going to require all that muscle activation to lift that weight off your chest. So the next time you go back to it, it's going to remember, okay, I failed when that weight was on my chest. So I need to do a little bit more. I need to make an adjustment so that I can get the weight off my chest. But you don't do that until you take yourself to that edge.
Yeah, it pushes you past that comfort zone, right? It's like when our daughter was learning how to walk. She was very comfortable in her crawling phase, but there was something inside of her said, you're capable of doing more. And she tried to take one step and fell. But that was just feedback for her to get back up and try it again. First attempt in learning. And she tried again and again and again. And now she's 2 and she's running and jumping and climbing on everything. So it wasn't failure. And who would we have been had we said like, you're a failure and shamed her in that? No, recognize, come on, you can do it. So I love that you figured that out for yourself in your own script writing, of getting back to that space of, I can do this, and giving yourself those pep talks of knowing, like, just because you've got criticism back from the writing staff, it's not criticism as in if you've failed completely, it's just feedback. And it's pushing you to the edge to sharpen you and become even better.
Absolutely, which takes us into our third and final point, is that failure takes you further. So you can't go any further unless you fail. It's just that simple. Like, you have to fail in order to go further, because when you get that feedback that something isn't working, then you have to make that adjustment. And as you make that adjustment, you do get further and further. But you never really can get further until you're told that something that you're doing isn't working. You get what I'm saying? So you just have to fail to go further. Do you have anything you want to add to that?
Yeah. And if you are going to grow and evolve as a person or in your business, you must keep making attempts in learning and just keep going for it, and give yourself permission to just love the journey, that this is progress. And when you're in a state of progress and growth, this is also where you feel your happiest, right? So just give yourself permission to let failure give you feedback, take you to the edge, and push you even further than you think you're capable of going now.
So in the comments below, I want you to go ahead and write, what are you failing at right now?
And I just want to throw a bunch of high five emojis your way, because if you are failing at something and you're still getting back up and you are going after pursuing that worthy ideal, then you, my friend, definitely deserve some kudos, because you are not failing. You are actually succeeding, and we want to cheer you on. So drop that comment below, and then be sure to subscribe to our email list and become a MoJo Insider, where you'll receive exclusive content shared nowhere else over at mindfulmamastv.com.
So thanks for joining us today, and don't forget to meet us next week at Coffee with MoJo. And until then, keep striving to master your mind and live your legacy.
Embrace me. It's about embracing failure.
You're not a failure, though. Oh, that was sweet.